The crystalline ice caves of Drakkar Prime had stood silent for 3 centuries, their violet walls reflecting the twin moons that hung perpetually in the frozen sky. The Draconians, a proud reptilian species known across the Galactic Council for their military prowess and rigid honor codes, had built their fortress cities deep within these ancient caverns. They were warriors, philosophers, and guardians of some of the universe's oldest traditions. But traditions, Freddy had learned during his 2 years as a xenobiologist on this ice world, could also be prisons. The distress call came through his comm unit at 0300 station time. Freddy rolled out of his narrow bunk in the human research outpost, his breath misting in the perpetually cold air. The message was garbled, the translator struggling with what sounded like clicking and hissing sounds no adult Draconian would make. "Freddy, you're not seriously going out there," Sienna said from her workstation, her dark eyes reflecting the glow of multiple holographic displays. As the station's cultural liaison, she'd made it her mission to understand the Draconians, even when they made it abundantly clear that humans were merely tolerated on their world. "It's probably just equipment malfunction. It's coming from the lower caverns," Freddy said, pulling on his thermal suit. "The abandoned sections. Nobody goes down there." "Exactly. Because it's forbidden." Sienna stood, crossing her arms. "The Draconians have made it very clear that humans are guests here, Freddy. Guests who follow rules." Freddy paused at the airlock, his hand on the seal. "I took an oath to help any sentient being in distress. That doesn't come with species restrictions." Something in his voice must have convinced her, because Sienna grabbed her own coat. "Then I'm coming with you. Someone needs to document whatever terrible decision you're about to make." The lower caverns were a maze of ice and shadow, lit only by the bioluminescent fungi that clung to the walls like frozen stars. The distress call led them deeper, past ancient Draconian glyphs that Sienna photographed with quick, efficient movements of her scanner. "These markings," she whispered, her voice echoing in the vast chamber. "They're old, pre-council era. I think this is one of their sacred hatching grounds." That's when they heard it again, a weak, shivering cry that made Freddy's heart clench despite every bit of his scientific training, telling him to stay objective. They found him in a small alcove, barely visible in the dim light. The dragon baby was tiny, perhaps the size of a house cat, his scales a dull gray instead of the vibrant colors Draconian young should display. He was shivering, his wing membranes torn, his eyes barely able to focus. "Oh no," Sienna breathed. "Freddy, this is a culling sight." Freddy's jaw tightened. He'd read about the Draconian practice hatchlings deemed too weak, too small, or too different were left in the lower caverns. It was tradition, they said. Nature's way. The strong survived. The weak returned to the ice. The baby dragon chittered again, a sound so small and desperate it barely qualified as noise. His tiny claws scraped against the ice as he tried to move toward the warmth of their suits. "We have to take him back to the outpost," Freddy said, already moving. "They'll kill him if they find out," Sienna warned, "and possibly us for interfering. Then they won't find out." The dragon baby weighed almost nothing in Freddy's arms. Through the thermal suit, he could feel the rapid flutter of the creature's heart, feel the way the small body pressed against his chest seeking warmth it had never known. The baby's eyes large and golden like all Draconians fixed on Freddy's face, with what he could only describe as hope. Back at the outpost, they worked through the night. Sienna rigged a heating lamp while Freddy analyzed the hatchling's vital signs. The baby was malnourished, hypothermic, and suffering from what appeared to be a congenital wing defect that would prevent him from ever achieving flight, the ultimate dishonor in Draconian culture. "He won't survive without constant care," Freddy said, mixing a nutrient solution he hoped would approximate Draconian mother's milk. "His immune system is compromised. He'll need feeding every 2 hours. You can't stay awake for weeks." "Freddy, then I'll learn to function on less sleep." The baby dragon accepted the dropper of nutrient solution with desperate hunger, his tiny throat working as he swallowed. When he finished, he made a sound, not a chitter, but something closer to a purr. His small claws gripped Freddy's finger with surprising strength. Days became weeks. Freddy named him Ember, after the way his scales began to show hints of red and gold as his health improved. Sienna helped when she could, but most of the time it was just Freddy and Ember, a human and a dragon baby that his own species had discarded like waste. Freddy told him stories while mixing nutrient solutions. At 3 a.m., he sang old Earth songs while treating the wing membranes with regenerative gel. He designed a small harness so Ember could rest against his chest while he worked. The dragon baby's warmth a constant presence against his heart. You know, Sienna said one evening, watching Freddy gently massage Ember's wings to improve circulation. I've documented 17 different species during my career. I've never seen anything like this. Like what? Humans, she smiled. We're not the strongest species, not the smartest. We don't have natural weapons or armor, but we have this absurd capacity for caring. You've reorganized your entire life for a being whose species would kill you for this kindness. Freddy looked down at Ember, who was sleeping peacefully for the first time since they'd found him, his small chest rising and falling in steady rhythm. The wing defect was permanent. Ember would never fly. By draconian standards, he would always be worthless. But Freddy saw something else. He saw golden eyes that sparkled with intelligence. He saw a being who purred when Freddy entered the room, who chittered with what Freddy swore was laughter when they played, who trusted with the absolute faith that only the young possess. He expected nothing that night we found him, Freddy said softly. He was left to die in the dark, alone. And I thought, what if that were me? What if I were the one deemed not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy of life? I'd hope someone would break the rules. I'd hope someone would care. 3 months later, when Ember's scales gleamed like molten gold and his eyes shone with health and happiness, when he had grown from a dying hatchling into a vibrant young dragon who would never fly but who radiated joy in every other way, Freddy finally understood what it meant to be human. It wasn't about being the strongest or the smartest. It was about standing in a frozen cave at 3 a.m. and choosing to care when caring was inconvenient, dangerous, and completely illogical. It was about giving everything to a being who expected nothing. And as Ember curled against his chest that night, purring in contentment, Freddy smiled. Let the galaxy have its warriors and its honor codes. Humans would keep choosing compassion every single time.